Don't drink this coffee.
Okay.
All right.
Drink some coffee. So, as you know, I've been in the hospital. I've been sick for quite a while, quite a few months. And, as you know, as you probably know, I have a wristband that now says I have type 1 diabetes. Now, does anyone know what diabetes means? Griffin?
It's like your blood sugar, you don't have enough insulin in your blood to be able to keep your blood sugar.
Yeah, that's good. So what it is that in your body, there's a part of your body near your stomach called your pancreas, and what that does, it helps you digest sugar. It produces this stuff called insulin, which helps digest the sugar. It's a hormone. It's kind of complicated to make. And so what happened is that sometime during my life, we don't know how, but somehow my pancreas stopped producing insulin. And this is there's some conjectures, guesses. It could have been that, some genetics got mixed up and I ended up with this. Or it could have been a virus I got when I was 5, or, it could have been my environment at the time. And so it just killed off my pancreas, killed off my islet cells, which produces my insulin, which helps me digest sugar. And so for the past few months, I'm not sure if anyone has noticed, but I've lost like 6 or 7 pounds. I've been drinking a lot more, I've been eating a lot more, but still I've been losing a lot more weight. I went into a process called DKA. And so what this is Diabetes Ketoacidosis. I'm about to explain that. I know that's really confusing, just call it DKA. And so what it is that, so my body wasn't able to digest this sugar. And so I was eating, and so I had all this food, and instead of having all this, sugar going into my cells, giving me energy, it was just going into the toilet. Because it's literally what happened. Because I know, it's kind of gross, but, that's what happened. It was that bad. And so, I was eating, and so, I couldn't digest the sugar. And so my cells were like, okay, I can't get this energy, so you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to, find some other sort of, food for me and get more energy. And so it went into the little fat and muscle I have and started eating that. But the problem is that when your cells begin to do that, it makes this acid in your body called ketone. And this ketone was making me feel all sick. And so I was, as you saw, for the last couple of weeks, I've been paler, losing weight. I've been tired, putting my head on my desk, drinking a lot more. I've just been lethargic. And, yeah, confusing word, but, so that was me with the acid, and I had no idea, and neither did my parents, and we had no idea. And the problem is that there was nothing I could have done to make this happen, and there was nothing I could have done to prevent it. And just to let you know, probably none of you will ever get this, because about 2 in 1,000 people get it. 2 in 1,000 children get it. So it's pretty crazy that, well, my family has a pretty big history of autoimmune diseases, so that's pretty bad. And so I've been feeling bad, and so I recommend this to all of you. If you haven't done your blood work yet for 11 to 12-year-olds, you should, because, it's a good thing. And so they take a little bit of your blood, and they do some tests. And so they did some tests. And have you ever heard of fasting? I'm sure all of you have, most of you have. It's when you don't eat so I had to stop eating for like 8 hours. And so I had to do that, and then they took some blood. And then they found out that at a fasting level, my blood sugar was 259, which is really, really bad, because most people at a fasting level, it's around 70. So that's really pretty bad. So they said, so I was feeling pretty sick, and that weekend I was like, I can't, all I could do was eat and sleep. Literally, I would eat, watch a movie, fall asleep for 4 hours. That's literally all I did all weekend. And so then the doctors called and said, we found, your blood sugar was way too high, you gotta go to the ER. So they rushed me off to the ER, and they put me on saline water, which would flush all the ketones out of me. But the thing is, I couldn't eat or drink for 14 hours, which means that's almost as long as we're awake every day. That's pretty crazy. And so I was up most of the night, like dreaming of water, just wanting to drink water. But the problem was, if I couldn't drink water, the thing is, the fluid in my brain could swell up, and something could have happened to my brain. Something really bad could have happened, that's for sure. And so, after that, after all the ketones were flushed out, they had to, you know, make sure that wouldn't happen again, and they had to put potassium in my body. I'm sure all of you have heard of potassium. It's in bananas, so they had to, have you ever, they had to put, like a banana in me, literally. It's kind of a funny thought, but it's really painful. Have any of you ever heard of an IV? You know, have you ever seen, like, in a hospital, people walking around with those wires, you know, big plastic bags of water, the liquid just going into them? I have my scar right here. That's where they put it in. And so what it did is flush, it cleaned my body out of that. And so that's what happened with the ketones. And so now, to make sure I'm never going to DKA again, you know, into that sick process, I have to test my blood every day before a big meal. Which means I take a little pen, and I go like this, and I prick it. I draw a substantial amount of blood, and I put it into a little machine, and it tells me my blood level. And I check my blood level every minute, and then I put in the correct amount of insulin I will need to eat. And the thing is, you know, most people think, oh, you're a diabetic, you can't have sugar anymore. Oh, I can have sugar, I can have ketchup, I can have cake, I can have pizza like the rest of you. Yeah. Yeah, amazing, right? Amazing. Anyway, so yeah, it's just I can't be like, yeah, I'll have some cake. Yeah, no, I'll just eat whenever I want. No, I can't do that. I have to eat at a certain time within certain limits, and I have to eat a certain amount. And sometimes it's more than I usually eat. Like this morning, I had 3 waffles, which is I usually have like 2 pancakes. But they said, you know, 3 waffles is good. So I had to eat 3 waffles. And so, you know, it's a really confusing matter of just, you know, getting the insulin level right, and then also getting your food level right. And, you know, I'm normal, like the rest of you. I can eat, you know. I just need to get my blood sugar and insulin. And it's not creepy if I give myself a shot, or I prick my finger. You know, not that creepy. You know, and you know, don't think that that I won't be able ever be able to have sugar. You know, if I see cake and everyone else is having cake, and I'm like, I want to have cake, I just have to think, okay, that's about 20 carbs. Cut that out. You know, figure out my insulin level and shoot myself, and there I go. I can eat my cake and go. So yeah, I just shoot myself, and that's about it. You know, there's nothing more to that than. You know, other than that, does anyone have any questions? Alex?
Did you have when you were at science camp? Because I remember you were like just laying in your bed.
Oh no. That's another thing. This is another thing that people have been talking about. A lot of people have been thinking that I've been having migraines. I get migraines from my heritage, Poland. And so they're thinking that maybe my diabetes is linked to my migraines. That's not true. They think it's a possibility, but it's probably not true. The reason I was lying around at science camp is because I get dehydrated very easily, and so I get these migraines if I don't drink a lot. And you remember how we had to drink so much more water since we were up in the mountains? So that's why I was lying around. Any more questions? Emma?
Are you still going to be able to enjoy the things that you love and still do Pilates and
Oh, yeah. Totally, yeah. I'll be able to do everything. The only thing I have to drop is orange juice. I can't have orange juice anymore. I mean, unless my blood sugar is like below 70, then I drink orange juice. And so then my blood sugar goes up. But, same thing. Oliver?
You should drink diet drinks because there's no carbs.
Yeah.
And don't have to take.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. I've actually had to, I had to switch to, for syrup, I had to switch to sugarless syrup. It's actually really good. You might think it's actually gross. It's actually, I think, it's really good. So sugarless things, they may not seem that appealing, but they're really good sometimes for you, you know? If you're diabetic or not. You know? Any more questions? Nope. Alright. Here we go.
Good job.
Oh, we'd love to have her stay.
Yeah.